What's up, guys, and welcome to the Mentally Fit Creative Diary, the podcast where I basically just audio journal with you guys. I pick a prompt that I have written down and I talk about stuff that I'm feeling in that moment. And so today I'm going to jump right into it. Today we're talking about describe a moment today when you felt fully present and what were you doing? Now, today I haven't been because I literally just woke up like maybe 30 minutes ago. So I'm going to talk about last night because last night we had, in my opinion, a fantastic evening. I hung out with a friend. We were online together playing a video game. Me, him, and my wife all played, and I was completely in that moment. I wasn't thinking about my business. I wasn't thinking about my book. I wasn't thinking about what I was going to do the next day. I was just laughing and having a good time, having fun. By the way, actually, no, I'm not even going to do that. But just, I was having a fantastic time, and thinking about it, thinking back on it now, I'm thinking about the reality of how it's so important to enjoy and have those moments where you are completely where your feet are, being where your feet are. This is so important. It really is. It's important to be able to say, okay, I'm going to just be where I am. I'm not going to worry about, I'm going to be where I am physically and mentally. I'm not going to worry about anything else that's coming up, anything else that I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to do any of that. The only thing I'm going to worry about is where I'm at right now, what I'm doing right now, having the good company of friends and taking that time to take care of yourself. I think so often we get so wrapped up in the idea of work. We got to work on things. We have to constantly be pursuing projects, building stuff, working for clients, whatever it is we're doing. We feel like we have to be doing that all the time, making it, and I understand, like, right now, eggs are $8, bro. It's life is expensive, and it's like it's really hard not to think about how do I get this money every single day? How do I take whatever I'm doing to the next level every single day? And I know, like, normally I find myself consistently thinking about other. I find myself consistently thinking about other things when I'm with my wife, when I'm with friends, having meetings. I'm thinking about the next thing all the time. I find that, like, me and my wife will be going to the grocery store. We'll be going to pick up a Walmart order or something like that. And she'll be going on about her day, telling me about how something she's excited about or something that she's nervous about, something she's anxious about. And I'm listening to an extent. I'm hearing, but I'm not listening. I'm in my own head. I'm thinking about the next meeting that I'm going to have, or the problem that we're running into with our ads, or with demand validation, or trying, how do I get people to fill out the survey so they can tell me more about, what they need from us as a company, and how do I do that? And I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about all the problems, or how I'm going to appear, how I'm going to do the next class, or what the next storyline is going to be in my novel, how I'm going to connect this arc, or I'm always thinking about the next thing, that sometimes it's really hard to get really, really focused on what's happening right in front of me. And last night, that was one of those moments where I was like, I'm looking over at the couch, and I'm watching my wife, and I see her laughing and having a good time and enjoying herself, and I hear my friend, and he's live streaming on TikTok, and he's laughing and he's having a good time, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just thinking to myself, this moment right here, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. There's no other thing that really matters in this moment. And I think it's just, and I love that feeling, bro. And I want to get so many more of those moments where I can. And I don't know if it's possible to necessarily turn off my brain, because my brain is always going. I'm always thinking. I'm always doing that. I'm always thinking about the next thing. And as a person who tries to practice or has tried to practice stoicism, one of the things that constantly taught is learning to be in the moment and learning to just accept what you can't, what you can, what you can change, what you can't change, and not constantly being worried about the things you can't. And and even the things that you can change, learning to just kind of be in the moment of where you are is so important. And that's something, like I said, I really struggle with that. But I really, really enjoyed the moment that I did have where that was happening, where I was doing that. So I don't know. I don't know if you feel that way. I don't know if you've ever experienced that where you're just like, where you find yourself constantly somewhere else, whether it be in the middle of conversations, whether it be at work, whether it be with your friends, whether it be with your significant other. That moment where you're just like always a million miles away, because I feel like they can tell too. I feel like they can tell when we're doing that. They may they may be polite enough to not say anything, but I think that they know. And if they don't know, I think then that's just doing them a disservice. And I understand. If you go through that, if you find yourself doing that, I understand. I understand that you can't always control that, and I know I can't. I know it's something that I haven't figured out how to master yet, of how to do that. I know there's some people who practice like mindfulness and are able to sort of just be in the moment and stop and just breathe and put themselves back. Because I mean, naturally our mind tends to wander. So that's a natural thing, right? But there are some people who know how to put that stop there, that stop gap, and then just kind of, and just like be where they are. And I just haven't managed to figure that part out yet. And maybe one day I will. But I do think it's important for you, um, for me, to find little moments like that. Little moments like last night that I had, where you can just, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just be where your feet are. Be completely in the moment, not worrying about anything else. Because the lesson that I've learned is that, or the lesson that I'm learning, I will say, is that life is going to be there whenever you get back to it. Whatever it is you're thinking about, whatever it is you're worried about, whatever it is that's on your mind, it's going to be there when you get to it. It's not going anywhere. Unless it's an absolutely urgent situation, like somebody's dying, or if you don't deal with this call in the next 20 minutes, your entire business is going to go belly up. Or or somebody needs to have surgery, and you only have like an hour to make a decision. Like, unless it's those kinds of situations, most things are able to wait. And if they're waiting for you, then you should leave them where they are. And I guess that's just the lesson that I'm trying to learn myself, is that if it's able to wait, and there's nothing I can do about it, or even if there is something I can do about it, if I can do something about it later, then I should do something about it later and just leave it where it's at. Leave my thoughts where they're at and just kind of be there. So I guess that the moment that I had yesterday with my friends and my friend and my wife, and we were just playing a game and chilling and having a good time, was a great moment of just complete presence. And I want to try to get as many more of those moments as I can, and I recommend that you do too. Because sometimes the last thing I'll say about it is that in those moments where you're truly present, where you're truly focusing on what's happening, and that's it, just like in that moment, there's so many things that you notice that you otherwise wouldn't. I've noticed that when it comes to like watching TV, like you probably do this because I know I do. It's like you're watching a TV show, for instance, and you pick up, you're watching it, you're getting into it, and then randomly you'll pick up your phone and you'll start scrolling on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, and miss all kinds of stuff, and you end up having to rewind what you've done. In life, though, you can't rewind what you miss. So it just makes me think about, like, how many things do I miss out on? How many plot points in life have I missed because I've just been distracted? Side note, I will say, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but I am starting to notice my checked out nature on social media. Not checked out and like I'm done with it, but more just like that vegged out interaction with social media. Because like I'll be on TikTok and I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling, and then somehow I'll be on Facebook scrolling, and then somehow I'll be on Instagram scrolling, and I completely black out the transition between apps. Like it's just like somewhere along the line, I closed out of one app and went into another, and I just completely blacked out that period of time. And I don't know if that's something that's interesting that we should be concerned about, but it's just an interesting thing. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Not a lot. I rambled a little bit, but that's kind of the fucking point of this whole thing, is to ramble a little bit. So yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful week, and I'll be back tomorrow. All right? Thanks for listening to the Mentally Fit Creative Diary. I'm your host, Jared Moses.